The year was 1973. King Hassan II of Morocco faced a second coup attempt on his rule. This time the threat came from within the ranks of his own air force. The failed coup, known as the coup of the aviators, shook the king to his core. It ignited a thirst for vengeance and a need to secure his grip on power. This marked the genesis of Tazmamart. The king envisioned a prison unlike any other. It would be a place of unspeakable horror, designed to break the will and spirit of his opponents. Tazmamart was not meant to rehabilitate or punish. It was intended to erase. Its creation was a chilling testament to the lengths to which power would go to silence dissent. The name Tazmamart itself sent shivers down the spines of Moroccans. It evoked a sense of dread and whispered warnings of a fate worse than death. The prison was shrouded in secrecy from its very inception. Its existence denied, its location unknown, Tazmamart became synonymous with the darkest excesses of the king's regime. The world would come to know Tazmamart as Morocco's secret hell. It stood as a chilling symbol of the brutality inflicted upon those who dared to challenge the absolute authority of King Hassan II. The prison's shadow would loom large over Morocco, a haunting reminder of the price of dissent and the enduring struggle for human rights. Tazmamart was strategically located in the southeastern region of Morocco. It was nestled within the desolate and unforgiving landscape of the Atlas Mountains. This remote location was chosen for its isolation. The harsh desert climate, with scorching summers and frigid winters, added another layer of torment for the prisoners. The prison's design was as brutal as its purpose. It was a subterranean complex, a labyrinth of darkness and despair. Prisoners were housed in tiny, windowless cells. These cells were barely large enough to lie down in. Deprived of sunlight and fresh air, the prisoners lived in perpetual darkness and suffocating heat. The thick, humid air was heavy with the stench of sweat, excrement, and decay. The only sounds that pierced the oppressive silence were the moans of the suffering and the echoing footsteps of the guards. The isolation was absolute. Prisoners were forbidden from speaking to one another. Any attempt at communication was met with swift and brutal punishment. The guards, known for their cruelty, enforced this rule with an iron fist. The physical structure of Tazmamart mirrored its sinister purpose. It was a place designed to break the human spirit. It sought to sever all connections with the outside world and plunge its inhabitants into an abyss of loneliness and despair. Tazmamart's prisoners were not common criminals. They were political prisoners, men who had dared to challenge the absolute authority of King Hassan II. Many were soldiers and officers who had participated in the failed coup attempts of 1971 and 1973. Others were intellectuals, journalists, and students accused of subversive activities or criticizing the regime. Among the prisoners were highly decorated military officers, their loyalty to their country repaid with unimaginable cruelty. There were brilliant minds, writers, and artists whose only crime was to dream of a more just and equitable Morocco. Their voices, once raised in dissent, were silenced within the walls of Tazmamart. One of the most notable prisoners was Mohammed Abu, a young lawyer who had defended the accused plotters of the 1971 coup attempt. His unwavering belief in justice and human rights earned him a one-way ticket to Tazmamart. He would spend 18 years in that infernal prison, his spirit unbroken despite the horrors he endured. The prisoners of Tazmamart represented a cross-section of Moroccan society. They were united by their opposition to the regime and their unwavering belief in a better future for their country. Their stories, though largely untold, are a testament to the indomitable human spirit and the enduring power of hope. Life inside Tazmamart was a living hell. The prisoners endured unimaginable suffering, both physical and psychological. Malnutrition was rampant. The meager rations of bread and soup were often rotten and infested with insects. The lack of proper nutrition led to severe health problems, including scurvy, blindness, and organ failure. Disease was rampant in the overcrowded and unsanitary conditions. The prisoners were denied basic medical care. A simple infection could easily turn fatal in the absence of treatment. The combination of malnutrition, disease, and torture took a heavy toll. The psychological torture was just as brutal. The isolation, the sensory deprivation, and the constant fear of violence chipped away at the prisoners' sanity. Many succumbed to despair, losing their minds within the prison's unforgiving walls. Despite the horrors they faced, the prisoners found ways to resist. They clung to their humanity, their dignity, and their hope for a better future. They shared stories, recited poetry, and sang songs to keep their spirits alive. The prisoners' resilience in the face of such unimaginable suffering is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Their stories, though difficult to hear, must be told and remembered. They serve as a stark reminder of the human capacity for both cruelty and resilience.